Okay, let's go through my teacher portfolio because I've had so many questions on this. It's gonna be all sticky noted and stuff just for privacy reasons, but I'm gonna go through what I included in all of this. So I put it in a binder, and then the front cover of this, I just found a template on Canva, changed a little bit, added in a picture of me because I feel like it just helps with remembering people when you're doing interviews. And then at the bottom, I put a little quote that says, I believe that behaviors are a form of communication. Basic needs must be met. Positive relationships make a difference in the lives of kids. Kids do well if they can, and that our toughest days don't define who we really are. Kids are worth it. This is what I believe to my core, and I felt like it was important to share in case I didn't get to verbally state that in an interview. This is what I brought along for in-person interviews. All the stuff that is in here, I have digital copies of that I would send in an email if I wasn't doing an in-person interview. Okay, let's get into it because there's a lot to cover. I did not do a table of contents. I felt like that was redundant. What I did do is I used sticky notes to tab all of the different things that I had included in this portfolio. On the very first page, I did a letter of intent. I made this specifically for the district that I was applying at and the position that I was applying for, so I could speak to why I wanted that position, how I felt like I could contribute to that position, so on and so forth. There's a lot of really good examples that you can find on Google that you can add in and piece together that make it more for you, but that was kind of how I started, right? We just look at examples, and then once we get an idea, we craft our own. So first was my letter of intent. Next, I did my resume, because the resume is going to show why I would be qualified for that position. I created this. There wasn't a template. I just created it on Canva, but essentially I talked about my professional profile, so essentially what my teaching philosophy is and what I am able to do. I have all of my work experience here, my training certifications, my educational experience, my contact information, and then skills that I have as well. And then on the back side, I have all of my references, which I won't show you because you guys don't need to contact my references. After that, I have all of my letters of recommendation. I asked a bunch of people for letters of recommendation, okay? I asked anybody who would have worked alongside me in a different capacity. I asked our school social worker, my school admin, my school speech language pathologist, one of my teammates, so another special education teacher, my special ed director, our district's behavior facilitator, anybody who's worked with me in some capacity. I asked them for a letter of recommendation. You don't need this many letters of recommendation. I just wanted to be able to give a picture of who I am in a bunch of different ways. I also found that some people got them done sooner, so I was able to submit some applications sooner and then have them all in this teacher portfolio when I went. My next section is teacher evaluations. You don't have to do this. I went on and I printed my teacher evaluations for the past 5 years. I feel like they show that you're an effective teacher, and then there's comments from the person that did your evaluation on all of these, so you can see I circled them. I'm not going to show you any more than that, just so they could see how my building admin would speak to how I was teaching. Then I included another tab of just a student resource example, showing them that I'm able to create resources if I need to. So thought that was kind of fun just to show my creative side in a way. The next section was notes from students. So if I had any sweet notes from students that really showed who I am as a teacher or what they found important to them as me as a teacher. So the one that I shared said, I love that you keep us safe and you are special in many ways. Like strong, helpful, kind. I love the kind part the most. And then on the back side of the card, there's a picture of me helping somebody who's like crying. So I thought that showed a cool perspective of how kids perceive me. And then I also included a note from a paraprofessional, 2 paraprofessionals, in regards to how they might view me as their supervisor, because a lot of times special education teachers, you'll end up being a supervisor of paraprofessionals in some capacity, no matter where you are. So I wanted to show that I could handle that piece. And then I wouldn't have to do this, but at the very end, I included my student teaching letters of recommendation just to show this is how I started, this is where I'm at now. And then at the very end, I have these little teacher recommendations. This was something that my cooperating teacher when I was student teaching did for me. All of the students that I worked with when I was student teaching filled out a letter of recommendation where they drew a picture and then recommended me for a teaching position. So I thought if it was a huge interview team, I would bring this along, they could pass it around, it would be kind of cute, just as like another thing to include. They could look through all of it, they didn't have to look through any of it, it was totally up to them, but that's what I included in my teacher portfolio, minus all the sticky notes that are covering up words and schools and things like that. This is what I passed around. Let me know what questions you have. That was a lot. I tried to fit it in as quickly as I could.